Bye. I'm down. I can't see. Music go.
Welcome everyone to the social van. Feeling Kyle sick of the bullshit. So here they are, reppin' C+, ready to turn every podcast to dust. So sit down and shut the fuck up, cause when in doubt, fuck your couch. Welcome everybody to the social van. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, this is KMB The Sexy Ninja in the place to be. What's up? Fuck is up, motherfuckers and motherfuckettes? I have a special guest here today. Why don't you introduce yourself, good sir?
What is going down? The sexiest ninja of all time. I mean, I've seen, females. I say to them, you pretty sexy for a woman, but you ain't never met that sexy ass ninja that I know. You know what I'm saying? I go by the name SevidemiC. I hail from Compton, California. And it is a pleasure to be here today, man. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah, man. And I know we've been wanting to do this for a minute. And ever since I've heard Xenogod, you have become one of my favorite rappers of all time.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I truly do. Seems like lately new people are gravitating to what I'm doing. And I appreciate everybody. And thank you again for making that review on Xenogod, man. Don't get too much press. So to get that really warmed the cockles of my heart. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah. And that's all I ever want to do is I want to make sure the underground will always, always be recognized because there's too much whack shit out there. So let's get these questions rolling. I want to know the origin of your name.
The origin of my name is one of my favorite stories to tell, sir. So I remember it like it was yesterday. I used to make music with the MC. I'm not sure if he's still active, but back in the day, he went by the name Open Mine, M-I-N-E. And he had this clean ass 64 white on white Impala. 1964 white on white Impala. I think his pops got it for him. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we were cruising around by El Camino College one day, and I had it in the back of my head. Like, I'd been making music and I didn't have a rap name. I didn't have a stage name. So I just kind of had it rolling around in the back of my head. And I swear on everything I love, I was sitting riding shotgun. We were on the corner of Redondo and Crenshaw, about to turn left onto Redondo at the stoplight, and it just popped in my head. And I looked over at him and I go, "Hey man, for my stage name, what you think about SevidemiC?" And he looked at me slow, like in a movie, and he was just like nodding yes, like that's it. And I've had it ever since then.
That is fucking dope, man. I love when things just kind of naturally come together like that and it just pops in your head, and I want to know, living in Compton, like what is your inspirations, like for music wise, like what got you into the game? What made you go like, oh shit, that shit's dope. That's what I want to do.
Another great question. It's kind of funny, man. From where I'm from, I'm kind of the black sheep. Not kind of the black sheep. I'm definitely the black sheep. I'm the deep black, outer space black sheep. I'm a metalhead. I grew up listening to nothing but metal. I actually hated hip hop and rap for most of my life, and in a very special part of my heart, still do, and I'm proud to say that. Basically, my biggest hip hop influence when I started making my own music was Tech Nine. That was the only rapper that I saw had that dark element, that non-traditional hip hop element that it inspired me to say, well, if I rap or if I put bars together, I can do it in a way that doesn't make me sick, like how 99% of rappers put their bars together. So seeing Tech Nine in I'd say late 90s, early 2000s was really influential on me as far as hip hop. But other than that, it's just nothing but metal, like real metal. Meshuggah, Lamb of God, Slipknot, old Slipknot, Pulse Ultra, El Nino, all the new metal stuff, Mudvayne. That's what I grew up on. You know what I mean? So that's my main influence. But as far as hip hop, I'd say Tech Nine.
Love me some good Tech Nine too, and I definitely think, you know, what's crazy about the underground is, you know, with Tech Nine, who's like, he doesn't stick to one style. He mishmashes it up, you know, and that's what I really liked about you, especially on one of my favorite songs, original Martyr. That song plays nonstop, like, on my playlist, just because I just love it. I love your voice. Like, you know, I want to know, what was the inspiration for that song?
Original Martyr is kind of a remade idea of a song I made a few years ago called The Light. I did a song when I first got a software program for making music called Reason 10. Actually, back then it was Reason 5 I was working with. And I made a very unconventional, sweeping, emotionally charged song called The Light. And I accidentally exported it in a way to where I couldn't edit it anymore. And there were elements of the song that were too loud and not mixed properly. But the way I approached that song vocally and the subject matter, I just told myself I'd make a new beat that moved in a similar way. The subject matter would be the same, the vocal approach would be the same, but it would be a entirely different song. The melody would be different, the beat would be different, all that stuff. So Original Martyr is kind of like the second life of a song called The Light from a couple years ago that I never put out. But what made me want to remake it is I did a show in Akron, Ohio for some of my biggest fans. I performed The Light and I saw the reaction it got, and people were like I saw tears coming down people's faces when I did that song. So I was like, okay, I have to recapture this. So Original Martyr, especially the breaks I add into it, it's exactly the same impact as The Light, but with a clearer ability to move you when I do it on stage. So it's The Light, but goes off better live. So, and as far as the lyrics for it, I really feel like the blending of styles that you just mentioned a few minutes ago, as far as comparing me to Tech Nine, I feel like there's not too many people genuinely doing blending of styles in a tasteful way on the scene right now. So I feel with me sticking to mixing it up and blending all these different styles together, it could catch on. It likely won't, but it will show the generation after me, whoever stumbles across my music, this is possible. This blending is possible. So hopefully I get the recognition I deserve before I die. But if I don't, I believe that would make me a martyr for the style.
With the mishmash of styles, you know, I've always said, you know, when people add screamo into like a chorus, or they can show that they can sing or do a melody and they can rap at the same time, it's far and few in between, and it's definitely something that I appreciate from artists and stuff like that. And with Xenogod out, you know, is there any new projects on the horizon?
Absolutely, man. The musical landscape has changed from a business perspective an awful lot since I started making music. Like I said, I pretty much got into this around 2009 as far as getting on the internet and trying to market myself and all that type of thing. So I've really been doing a lot of experiments to see what the best course of action is to release music. If you go back to last year, I was basically just putting out singles. I put out a video and a few singles last year. So far this year, I've garnered a little bit of momentum and buzz for my music and for my whole movement. So I decided to kind of do a little bit more, and thus we have Xenogod. Now moving forward, there's some exciting opportunities on the horizon where making music is part of the opportunity. So definitely new music is coming, and it'll have a machine behind it unlike I've ever had behind my music before. So not only will you get that original content, but you'll be able to sit there as a fan and be proud that it's actually getting out more than it has been in the past. So new music is most certainly on the way. Like my goal is 2 more releases similar to Xenogod's length, if not longer, before the end of the year.
I appreciate the complexity of that album, Xenogod. It's many layers and stuff like that. And you brought up something good. Music, trying to sell your music today is very far different. Even just 10 years ago, we got Spotify, you got all these different types of platforms. So, trying to market yourself is definitely a lot more different today than it is because everybody has a voice. And do you feel like when you first started, it was much easier to be like, hey, check this out, this is my shit? Oh, and then then the word started spreading, but now you got so many people online. Is that frustrating to you, being in the game for this long?
I would actually argue the opposite. Everything is about perspective, especially when you're an artist, and you can easily take a standpoint of a negative standpoint and be like, and magnify all the negative things about something. Really, it goes beyond being an artist. This goes for being a human being. You can easily magnify the negative side of something, but you can just as easily flip it and just look at what your advantages are. So I would actually say before Spotify and social media and all that stuff, it was next to impossible just to get exposure and get something to catch on. You really just had to rely on organic word of mouth until you caught the attention of a machine, somebody that had, a label basically. And now that's so far away from what it takes to be successful as a musician. You can be independent, as I've been since 2013, starting Sick Mind Media LLC, and just open the doors for yourself. As long as you can fund your moves, as long as you have the talent, as long as you have the drive and the consistency, you can, the world is your oyster nowadays. It just wasn't like that before MySpace, even
Oh,
before,
shit.
even before then, you know what I mean? It's just really tough. Like I remember when I first made a couple albums, like I put a few songs together and just burn them on a little burn CD, mark them up with a Sharpie, put them in a paper jewel case, stack them up, and just go stand out in front of Guitar Center or stand out in front of a mobile gas station or whatever. It's like, think about that versus the tools that are available to an artist like myself now, to where I put some quality music together, I get some good images, I can put that out to a much larger audience than standing out in front of a brick and mortar store trying to sell cheap looking burn CDs. You know what I mean?
When I was rapping for a bit, I remember I came up from the res, and I remember going to the flea market every Saturday and hustling CDs and trying to get somebody. It's only $5. Okay, it's only $4. All right, fine, just take the damn thing.
For sure, for sure. Yep.
And but I really want. I know you got a tour coming up with Twisted. Are you excited about that? And how did that come about?
First of all, man, I'm extremely excited about the tour. It's the biggest tour that I've booked to date. And to answer the second part of your question, I came about being on the tour because for the last 2 years, I've been touring with affiliates of Magic Ninja Entertainment as well as artists on the label. Last year, I did Path of Destruction tour with Axe Murder Boys, Scum, and Lex the Hexmaster. So that was my first tour with Magic Ninja, and then from there, I really proved myself, and I got invited to a few more shows on the tour that I wasn't scheduled to play, like in Denver, at the Roxy, and I think that was actually the only one. But it was just kind of they offered me more though, right? Yeah, they offered me to play more. I just couldn't fit it in my schedule, but that was the first one. And then earlier this year, we just did Axe's Family Tour with Alazul Ilu, Axe Murder Boys again, and Scum again, but he was with Insane Poetry. They have that group, MMMFD. So I did that tour, and then I was invited from that tour to do Alazul Ilu's record release show a few weeks ago, I guess about a month ago now, in Indiana. So I've just been kind of familiarizing myself with the lineup and the staff over there, to where when it came to the Twisted shows, it was extremely easy and painless, or Twisted tour rather. It was very easy to just, everyone knew who I was already, and it was just like, yeah, man, that's a good fit.
So with everything, you know, when you touring and stuff like that, what is your favorite city to rock?
Oh man, that's tough because it changes every tour. Like I did a tour last year with Hemlock. They're a rock metal band from Vegas. And bro, I did shows in places where I would never expect the crowd to go crazy. I did a show in Wichita Falls, Texas, that literally brought the lights off the stage down. Like it was incredible. I did a show in Idaho Falls, Idaho. That was incredible. And then I come back on a different tour, and those shows are just kind of, you know, they're cool, but they're not as good as they were on the last tour. So it just changes every time, man. I think once I get more consistency and see these cities, you know, 2 maybe 3 times a year, I'll be able to give you a more definite answer on that in the future. But right now, it just kind of switches around. A lot of factors.
Another thing I wanted to ask, you know, was just make it fun because I know we talked about it before about what movies you like. What would you say is your favorite horror movie of all time? That's kind of like your go-to. Like, let's throw that on.
Man, it used to be the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. But I don't know, man. I think I've burned out on that one. So go-to horror right now, dude. I've been having like a real good 80s horror kick. So I'd have to say something like Dead Alive or I just saw this one. Damn, I can't remember the name of it, but that's where I got the idea for the bright green stuff in the syringe. Damn it. Reanimator. Reanimator is crazy. You seen that?
Oh yes, I'm a big '80s horror guy.
Okay.
I love slasher films. I love it all. Like, I'm more slasher films than most. You know, I'm not really into like zombies or ghosts or anything like that. But slasher films, I'm like, fuck yes. You know, and even gross out horror with a little bit of comedy mixed in. That's my shit.
So the '80s is really your jam.
Yes, it is. You know, and a lot of great stuff has come from that, and a lot of cheese that I love. There's another podcast I host where we do movie commentary, and we did this one for Chopping Mall that's on Amazon Prime, and it's about killer robots killing this group of teenagers that got locked in this mall, and it's just really bad and really gory, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever seen.
Nice, man. I'm gonna check that out. You mentioned that yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, bro.
You know, and winding down here, you know, so what is your plan for the future? Like, are you wanting to start your own label? Then when you start your own label, getting your own artists, or are you just going to focus on you right now just so you can just push as much as you can to get out there and be more on tour and stuff like that?
Well, I actually mentioned earlier that I started my own label in 2013 with the help of my business partner, Denisius. It's called Sick Mind Media, LLC. We used to have 2 artists, myself and another individual, but he was released in, I think, 2015 or 14. And now it's just me. So that's how things stand as we speak. But literally within the next couple of days, you will see an announcement for a joint venture with another label where I will be signing a deal with a very well-known underground label. I just haven't signed it yet, so I don't want to put any of the actual information out there as far as who that label is. But within the next couple of days, you'll see it. And that'll be a meeting of resources between my label and their label to provide a higher quality of stage show, a more consistent delivery of music, more consistent delivery of visuals, more merchandise options, more merchandise designs. Yeah, that's pretty much the move moving forward. More tours of mixed genre. So in the future, I'm just going to be doing what I've been doing, going back and forth from hip hop tour to metal tour, hip hop tour to metal tour, just because my style blends those 2 genres. So it makes sense for me to galvanize fans from both back and forth. So that's the future, man. I would say stick extremely close to my socials, you and all of your listeners and followers, because this right here is the point where the roller coaster is clicking up the track, about to take the about to take the plunge. You know what I mean?
It's a hustle and grind, and I appreciate everything you do. I love your music very much, and to my listeners, you know, you got to check him out. We'll have all the links in the comments below, as always. And before we get out of here, my ninja, what's your plugs?
Just SevidemiC. I'm the only SevidemiC on the planet. So just type my name into Google, and it's all there for you. Everything is at SevidemiC as far as the socials. The only thing that isn't just SevidemiC is Facebook, which is the real SevidemiC. Everything else at SevidemiC. New video coming out this week.
This ninja is super hella talented. Like I said, we'll have all his plugs underneath. Definitely check out Xenogod if you want to get introduced to his music. He is incredible. Original Martyr, like I've told everybody, is by far one of my favorite songs of all fucking time. And I want to thank you, my sexy ninja, for rocking with me today.
Thank you, fellow sexy ninja. I appreciate it, man. They don't know what it takes to be sexy out here in these streets. We got to show them, bro.
Fuck yeah, we'll do it together.
Well, wording, phrasing.
Phrasing,
phrasing, but yeah, okay, I'm down.
well, you have your sexy ninja movement going. I'll have my sexy ninja movement going, and we'll just rock it forward. We'll
twist it up like a joint, bro. We'll twist it up like the scene in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, you got
twist.
it there.
That's what I'm saying. You know, when they did the twist, right? They did the twist.
I got you. All right, man. Well, much love, much respect. I am KMB The Sexy Ninja. And one more time, good sir, sound off.
Yeah. Infatuated, to suffer for my fault. Forward falling, martyr calling him original. Nature, celebrating the fearless. From a bottomless well of hate to intolerance and impatience, a nation that's so ready for weird shit. Ominous and abrasive, and not for the politics, Satan's soul out. Taking that throne as soon as I float south. Note how the bar is raising, I navigate the ghost town. Deities ain't related, no way, man. But we really ain't complaining. A tortured, soiled soul. When passion faded, to suffer for our fault. Forward falling, martyr calling him to ritual. The most powerful gods are selfish. In demand, the hand and axe is often held with. Wax ball up a hill gone melted. Glass jaw on the heels I flex with. Past all in my field to blast off. Bradshaw and Farouk. Glam god, motherfucking star in the room. Nassau, Mosh is a law and the rule. That's y'all, I'ma go to war for the proof. Ooh. Rated.